Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our broadcast. This is RGLgg, and you are watching Season 4 of Traditional Sixes Invite. So we got two fantastic teams ready to kick off this division. Corsia versus Wonderwall. I'm your host, Eckstein. We got Dolphin on production, and I am joined by none other than Jared. How are you doing, Jared?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm ready to watch some snakewater. What about you, Eckstein? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm just excited about the RGL Traditional Sixes season in general. I was watching some intermediate because the Portland Burnsiders have got a B squad called the B-Siders in there. And then before that, I was watching our main squad practice. And then it's just been like preseason hype. And then it's like, we're just like main scrubs. And like, let's talk about Invite because like Invite is going down, We got a lot of really talented teams that have formed up this season, and I think we got two great examples in front of us tonight.
Yep, always a nice thing to have the season start up again. We no longer have to sit and wait for these casted games to return because the off season is over. We're back into it, going through our full 8 weeks and going into playoffs, or maybe it's 7, depending on. Actually, no, I think it is 8 with a bye week. But either way, you're very right in terms of we have some talented players on these rosters trying to figure out how they want to make the identity of their team shape up, and this first match is definitely going to be a good showcase of what they've done so far in the couple weeks they've had since the creation of their teams.
Mm-hmm. I love as well, got to point it out since we're just scratching the surface here, getting into these teams. Love the shout outs in both of the teams' names. Corsia, of course, is a shout out to Corsa mixed with the team from last season, Dorsia. And that's a pretty solid roster that they have. I just, of course, want to point out the other shout out, Wonderwall, another very old school player. Wonderwall, great guy, old school b-ball legend. And so kind of fun to have both of those shout outs. As well as good to see the Dorsia team still striving to be the best, right?
Yep, a couple shakeups in terms of maybe the classes they're playing or new additions to the roster. Like Trip is a new addition to the roster, but overall, generally some familiar faces. So they're not exactly new on the block in terms of their experience in playing together.
Yeah, so it's going to be Yite on the Flank Scout, Brand Slam on Combo Scout, Trip Boy. I say that all sorts of ways, and then people are like, you're saying it wrong. I'm like, I don't know. He's going to be the Realmer. Ash going to be on Pocket. Alex.exe on Demo Man. Zilly will be the Medic. Then over for Wonderwall, their roster going to be Howard, the Flank Scout. Cap on Pocket Scout. Rakuso, the Roamer. Cactus Wactus on Pocket Soldier. Sam, the Demo Man. And Lol Guy on Medic.
And for those of you that aren't keeping track of, people changing their aliases or using more than one alias, another alias that Cactus Wactus goes by is Fruit, and another alias that Sam has gone by has been Pissy. And a lot of talent in this server. All 12 of these players, some of them slightly more experienced when it comes to invite experience than others, but generally when you go into a first week season, a lot of that is kind of thrown out of the window because you can, even if you're not as experienced as another player, you can throw in some surprise factors and make some good plays they're not expecting to lead your team to victory. So week 1 match, definitely anyone's game, I would say.
Yeah, certainly. You mentioned old experience. I think Alex.exe, the oldest player on the block, he's kind of really been around. That team definitely has a lot of players that have kind of swapped through rosters. But at the same time, I think that TF2 is kind of in a stage where there's kind of like a lot of new blood that's been grinding for a while. RGL, we're season 4 now. And I think that, basically kind of across all the division, there's just been a lot of players that are pushing really hard. So, like you said, a lot of kind of newer blood, players like Cactus Wactus, Fruit that have been, Howard, Cap, they've been pushing upwards for quite a while. So, excited to see what Wonderwall's, going to be able to do.
And the good news for them is, even though, for some of these players, in comparison to their opponents, the experience might not be as high. It's not necessarily the first time a lot of these players have crossed paths. A lot of the players that are going in and getting their debut either season 1 or season 2 of invite experience in terms of matches, have probably played several pugs with a lot of the players that are currently in the server. So, it's not necessarily like completely fresh faces, but just more so in a high stakes scenario where the actual result will end up mattering to them more than a simple pug would. So it
Yeah,
should be interesting to see.
yeah, and this definitely is going to be an important result as the season continues because there's been chat in going on the side about Ascent dissolving, and that's certainly kind of a big name that's not kind of taking place in this season. Froyotech, of course, they're always out there. The defending champs, they're always ones to watch out for. But on the other hand, we've just had a lot of competitive seasons with teams fighting over those playoff spots. So right away, right out of the gates, if you're not playing Froyotech, those matches are super important. If you're playing Froyotech and you lose at week 1, and you can be like, oh yeah, I mean, like, this is just warm up. I mean, this is week 1. It's Froyotech. We're gonna lose anyways. But this matchup, this is something where they might be looking back at week 8 and being like, how can we lose to those guys? Like, well, you did. It's not going to matter 2 months from now. What was happening 5 minutes before this match. It's going to happen. It's going to matter right now. Like, they need to get the result.
For sure. And it seems like Corsia and friends are definitely preparing for every round mattering. You could see earlier on when the stream was showing it the ban list of each of the teams, they definitely banned more of the traditionally upset-like maps, like the Koth maps in Villa, and definitely forced the pool to be more of a more traditional type of setting. So when it came to the final map pick, it's none other than Snakewater that takes the cake at the end of the day, and it's going to be the map that we're playing. So I'm sure they're happy about that if they want to just go off the fact that, like, okay, well, these guys aren't bad, but we've been playing a little bit longer. We just take it to a simple map that everyone's very familiar with. We should be able to take it at the end of the day, and Wonderwall is going to have to try to do the best they can to combat that. No cheese strats here. Got to beat them fair and square.
Yeah, I think that's a good approach. Snakewater is a classic map, as you said. Fairly figured out, but nothing's ever really going to be solved completely in this game. Who are your players that you kind of like really think that make the difference on this map then?
I think it's probably going to be a lot on the ability of the scouts, mostly because this can be kind of a hard map to play as soldier unless the other teammates on your team are giving you space to be able to do more than just one thing. Like, if you're playing soldier on this map and your team is not able to create a whole lot of space for you, I feel like your options in terms of being effective is a little bit limited, and pigeonholing yourself into a spot where you don't really have a whole lot of options is not exactly the most favorable position to be in. So if your scouts are able to make the space for you to play as a soldier, then everything should, on paper at least, go pretty well for your team. So in general, I'd say it's the scout players. It'll be Brandslam and Yite versus Caps and Howard.
Yeah, I think Howard is definitely one that I don't know if it was even last season or 2 seasons ago. I saw Howard destroying. Feel the same about Brandslam, and even in pregame here, see Brandslam going nuts. Rakuso is a player. Again, also I saw him hit a nasty shot in pregame. He's one that I feel like sometimes his crazy style gets countered, and sometimes he has a major impact. And you mentioned the soldiers as well. I think he's a player that's going to be interesting to see. Maybe on the flip side, though, that either, I don't know, Trip Boy might kind of be the same situation. I think that Ash's style has evolved a little bit more, and he is on the pocket role. Of course, though, the meta of pocket is a bit roamery, but he should just be probably pretty consistent throughout the night.
Yeah, I'd definitely say so. Speaking of Rakuso, I'd definitely say that even though the show might be based on the scouts, in terms of Wonderwall performing, I would say Rakuso is probably their best bet at having a lot of plays go well for them, because he's probably one of the better players on the team, at least in my opinion. So at least for my eyes, like, my spotlight's going to be on him to be able to perform well for his team, and it might make or break whether or not they're able to get rounds on the board, or how many, if that. So in due time, we will see. Everyone's in the server. I think we should be starting relatively soon. Just have to wait for the STV delay to catch up a little bit, but I'm ready for some snakewater. I don't know about you.
Oh yeah, definitely. Do you want to put yourself down to a pregame prediction? We do have Corsia leading in the fan vote right now.
I'll give it like a solid 5-2 for Corsia. You know, it's early in the season. Not everything is figured out in terms of team synergy and countering certain players or team styles, so it can be a little bit of a toss-up. But there is a relatively noticeable experience advantage in terms of Corsia's players. So I think I give it to them to, no matter what happens in the first half, they can kind of probably take a look at what's happening in the second half and fix any mistakes that they might be coming across. At least that's how I feel about it. But it seems both teams are readied up now. We are going to be going live, so why don't you take it away, Eckstein?
Yep, sounds good. First mid will be starting out here shortly. Corsia versus Wonderwall. Wonderwall on the blue. See if we're going to see anything kind of surprising out of either of these demo men. Right now, Sam maybe just a little bit faster out of the gates. Actually, that might have been an insult to Alex.exe. They were probably tied. Soldier bombing forward from blue team. That's Wonderwall. Actually, soldiers all over the place. Ash just barely survives the landing. Lolkai got a kill on the demo man. Alex.exe. Lolkai still alive. Pretty crazy mid-fight. Wonderwall backing up though.
Yeah, good initiation coming out of the blue team, but their target was a little bit too deep. Alec was so far in that they weren't really able to get a whole lot more than that. So their team ultimately uses too many resources to be able to get not enough frags, so they have to back up all the way to the last. The one thing they do have going good for them right now is, you know, they kept their medic alive, so at least they don't have to prepare for red team to barrel in with a, you know, with a full Uberat or anything like that. But it seems like we're off to our first stalemate of the match.
Yeah, and some pretty standard invite TF2 as well as, 5 seconds after they're decided the mid-fight, they're already capturing second. But we'll see if they just decide to kind of push in raw here, or if they will send a sack or double sack.
Red team's eyeing up the defense a little bit, trying to figure out where the gun is, if there is one, trying to figure out traps, what's the best door. You don't want to go too fast, because things like that will happen. They immediately lose their first player trying to peek a doorway, which is a bit unfortunate for them. And now we're going to have a counter initiation potentially coming in from Kuso. He finds an open door, double high bomb off the wall, trying to see if he can find his way onto the medic. Going to get a nice rocket onto Zilly, but not quite enough. No follow-up, just a solo play, and seems like it's just going to be a 1-for-1 for now.
Yeah, nice attempt. Howard has set up that sentry gun, middle of a ramp. This is a spot that I don't know, maybe now it's completely current. I feel like the American TF2 meta was a little bit behind on this spot. I was seeing it in Europe, but the ramp spot, a favorite of mine.
Now, this spot's pretty nice because it forces them to really spam out that gun before they can really do anything. It can kind of cover any of the doors. It's not impossible to spam out, but if you're spamming the gun, you're not spamming the guy right back at you, and you could die if you're not too careful. So definitely a big wall that the red team has to try to break through, and they have to be kind of careful about it. They don't want to be too sloppy and just die for no reason, so have to be pretty meticulous about it.
And they're all on standard stuff, still just kind of jockeying for position, trying to see if they can get some sort of kill before just kind of coming in for an uber charge.
Trying to get tanked a little bit lower, Ashes. They're able to get a whole lot of spam. He's dropped him to 10 HP though, is going to get saved temporarily by the arrow. Yeah,
skip trip in here for Tripway. Going for the bomb, now getting floated by the sentry gun as well. A little bit of damage on Lol guy. Yite goes down at the same time though. So 2 players down, Wonderwall. Looking for a counter push perhaps.
We have Rakusa trying to sneak his way through Cheese. He's gotten pretty clean. He doesn't seem like he has a whole lot of follow-up. Good damage on the demo, but not quite enough. Not a whole lot of follow-up from his team, and that's just going to be a solo play. It seems like blue team is okay where they're at right now, sitting on last. They don't want to try to force anything, at least for now. Just going with the 1, it's not going to work, but red team back in the driver's seat. They have a pick this time, and when they try to spam with this gun, this can make or break whether or not it goes down. The double spam on it is getting pretty weak, but blue team doesn't want it to get spammed for free.
Yeah, a bit of an engagement in lower, but Corsia will recover off that and kind of shifting around. Maybe just going to push in left side here. Again, probably just trying to open up room. There goes Tripway. Jumps over to Shed once again. Looking to spam behind wall. Well, they get the gun. Tripway kind of bouncing back towards the side.
A lot of red health players on the blue team.
Big
their medic surfs all the way back. Tripp's not going to be able to get it, but they've lost a decent amount of positioning here. Scout on the point. It's going to get a lot of cap time, not able to clean it up though, and that's going to be red team's 2-man. They're able to successfully get the gun and get in pretty deep, but not quite exactly what they wanted. And so now losing the driver's seat, trying to figure out what door they can sneak through is Fruit. Very deep into cheese, already initiating in.
Yeah, I like this bomb. Very great bomb. Oh, can't quite find the second rocket. I think it did come out, but just hit the wall above lower. Nice try.
Now, losing a precarious position. You know, they're down 2, even Ubers. Red team's trying to skip their way in. Decent damage at the stuffing the red team, though. They tried to brute force their way through this one door, and only one player was able to get through pretty cleanly.
Yeah, Zilly standing on battlements still. Rakuso just kind of slow pogos out towards ramp. It gets cleaned up. Maybe not the most efficient use of that opportunity there. They do clean up Ash here as he's trying to go in on the medic. Taken out though.
Both teams just trading live after live. It seems like they don't really want to play too aggressively. You know, really early on in the match, Fruit's going to try to go in for a sack. It's not going to work out. Alex is going to be able to kill him. And like I said, both teams pretty content to just trading the one. Going to have another go down in a scout. This time it's going to be a 2-man. Lower is not watched well enough, and red team has finally sneaked their way in. Although they've lost their demo, he's a little bit too aggressive, and now red team, despite having their Uber, and Zilly getting arrowed across the map. 20 HP, 1 HP. RNG to victory all the way back to mid. Was able to collect the pack, and that was almost very, very bad for the red team.
Yeah, what a hold. And the capture actually won't go underway here. It's one of those things that doesn't really matter too much. It'd be nice if they could get the capture and then get some frags, but it's just more important to be able to hold last in the end. They also have such a big Uber disad. The push coming in here. Demoman bombs all the way in the left shutter, trying to cut things off. Lol guy dancing around, completely abandoned by his team. Will get cleaned up. Howard is down. The overcharge is over. Wonderwall spread out with 4 players without a medic. Bombs up from Fruit. It's just Cap. And yeah, the point is going to get pressured. All 4 players rotate over. And yeah, there you see it.
Now, they got really deep with that Uber, and that was definitely the last push that they were waiting for. And playing slow definitely kind of played in their favor, despite it being kind of sketchy near the end there where their medic almost dropped. But either way, a round's a round, and now we're going into the next mid-fight.
Yeah, that hold from Zilly. Steel-like from him. See how the second mid-fight can go down. Ash is on the high ground. We'll see if he bombs forward. Wonderwall staying back right now. Just kind of passing the ball back and forth. Cactus Wactus takes the logs, gets shoved it back. Neither team going too crazy here. Trip wide in kitchen. Looking like he might come back on in mid. Ash goes really high. Trip comes in at the same time. Yite taken out. Half the only player down. Now Rakuso as well for Wonderwall. Cactus Wactus going in. The Uber Charge comes out.
It's just 2 people though. They don't have any way to clean up the rest of the players, so they have to back up with this. That was a little bit better executed by the blue team. If they recognize that, okay, if red team's going to play slow, then we're going to have someone go behind all the way in. Rakuso going in was able to cause a little bit of a distraction. It was much easier for them to clean up on the kills that they wanted, and now they're in an even better position where they're in the driver's seat. They have full Uber out. They're trying to work their way through lower while they're slowly waiting for their players. They've shown a little bit, but they'll choose this door nonetheless.
Yeah, Ash hiding. They will check that spot. Cactus Wactus comes out. Gets damaged pretty significantly, but staying alive. Cap also needs an arrow. Pushing out towards 2. Still a healthy 50% Uber charge advantage. Looks like they want to keep up the tempo as well. Cap leading the charge underneath. They find the gun. I'm just going to sort of push past it. They're like, the engineer just going to change off anyways. They get Zilly. Brand Slam down as well. Alex.exe trying to fight. Still has a few stickies on the point. Most of the players over 4. Corsia have rotated over the other side. There's a scout on the point. The medic going to try to capture Log. I can't quite get it. Oh, that was so close. Sam still fighting versus Yite. He just needs to stand on the point. No, Yite gets the pistol kill.
The initial fight for blue team was so good. They collected the kills that they wanted, but the only unfortunate thing is the pace at which they played afterwards wasn't good enough. They were able to kill the medic, but they weren't able to play slow enough to be able to use the heal advantage they had, and that's just going to help red team secure their last hold. Just barely, and with a small Uber ad to boot as well. It's, you know, it's not the greatest, but it's sizable. But blue team, they might actually dry here. Looks like they're getting ready for it. They're busting through the door, but immediately shut down. They lose 2, and this dry fight's probably already over. Scout on the other side of the map.
Yeah.
shut down. They might get the demo, not even, so that's going to be 4 players dead as a dry push is not going to be successful, and that's probably going to be them leaving 2 entirely back to mid.
Our control point is being captured.
Yeah, that was a rough one for him. I don't know, just kind of scatterbrain. You don't really have to do that push as well. It's definitely ambitious.
Yep, now red team, they have their Uber. All they have to do is pick a door if they want to bust through and try to use it.
Yeah, it comes in through kitchen. Now Tripway bombing around to get Cactus Wactus from behind. Howard's on low ground, maybe threatening a back cap. Tripway's going to chase that out. Ash is there as well. As this drags on mid, yeah, Howard cleaned up. Both the soldiers are back there, so Cap pushing forward. Overcharge exchange on mid is actually really good for Corsia. They, you know, players were even there. Locally, they're not going to flash more. Zilly gets cleaned up afterwards, though. As Cap coming in gets 2.
He got a huge
3?
3K, yeah, he got a 3K at the end of that, just circled around the shed and came back in, surprised everyone, so that wasn't as clean as red team would have hoped. And now blue team, they recognize the enemy medic is dead, and even though they've just lost the mid, they're going to go back and take it, and red team, I think they kind of recognize it. It's lost for the most part. They could try to poke around a little bit, but blue team could take some positioning here, although they're not locking out doors. They're just sitting back, they're letting red team in. Corsia's kind of gotten in a little bit scot-free. Only now are they going to try to initiate, but it seems like the red team didn't take the ground as fast as they could have. They got through for free at the beginning, but near the end there, it was kind of disastrous.
Yeah, I think it was kind of a poison pill. You know, they felt encouraged, but there were just so many players from there. And you're right, it was that aspect of not quite early enough to get some high ground, you know. And the push all the way through is going to come. 95% from Lol Guy has to just be a little bit careful here pushing in. They are coming out. The overcharge is here yet on the heavy weapons. Second stun that. Oh my gosh. I lost the ability to speak as he surfs it and then hits the spawn bind, staying alive. They're trying to clear. Cap on the side, super weak. He will get one more kill on Brand Slam. They're still fighting. Zilly dodging, very low, still alive though. Cap over the top though. Howard has gotten the kill on Zilly. And it looks like Wonderwall will be able to do it 1-1.
And as cool as the heavy surf was, it didn't quite matter because blue team had gained enough ground to be able to secure the areas they needed to pressure the cap and collect kills, and that'll be their first round on the board. Tied game, so now we're on our way to the 3rd mid where, you know, we're just one step closer to the halftime where you can talk about stuff, but for now, gotta duke it out one more time.
Yeah, tied up 1-1. Soldiers throwing some sticky spam out here early. Fairly mirrored rollout so far. Cactus Wactus on high ground though. Tripway, first soldier to cross the midline. He's coming across there on top of Sam. They do get the kill there. Blue mostly getting cleaned up on the back line. Rakuso goes down, Kappa is down. Howard and Lol Guy in retreat, getting chased. Howard, I think, got arrowed there, doing okay on this falling back. But 2 scouts versus 1. Lol Guy still keeping Howard alive, somehow retreating. But Lol Guy, 98%. Oh, killed
just
right
barely.
outside the spawn.
They're going to lose 1 scout. Are they going to lose? Oh, they get the force, so that's something at the very least. They are going to lose their soldier for it, though, but I'm sure, given the situation, red team's not too unhappy with what just happened. They killed 3, and they lost their Uber for it. I'm sure they don't really care in the grand scheme of things, because 2 should be relatively free for them as long as they're able to secure the mid cap. And some blue players are showing up, and they're ready to show some resistance, so there is a way that this could go awry, and not necessarily the cleanest thing for red team, as they are a bit on the slow side at trying to shove these blue players out. Blue players have heals now, so it's not necessarily free for them anymore because of the pace they've taken this game. Soldiers trying to initiate in, try to get some space, but you know, it seems like they're kind of shoved out a little bit. They're able to get a little bit closer to the point the red team is, trying to pressure away as the blue demo flies in the air and eventually is taken down. Frags going the way of Corsia. Nice pipe onto the scout. A little bit of a kill by Rakuso, just barely onto a scout, but that's probably going to be the end of things here. Oh, no, he gets a second. Wow, that ends up being a 1v1. Did not expect that. I thought they would just clean him up, but even though it's 1 kill, I'm sure red team's going to want to push off the advantage they have right now.
Yeah, Ubercharge almost coming out here. 85%, 90%. Well, needs to heal somebody. And so close. Ubercharge out on the other side. Sam, oh, they can't find the arrow heal midair. Look for the supercharge. They do get it. Can they block? They do just barely. Alex.exe cleaned up. The push is stopped.
Yep, not quite quick enough as blue team is able to get their Uber in time. So now with very fresh kills, they're probably going to be trying to peek out on a 2 to see if they can take back this 2nd point and say it's theirs.
Yeah, this match is getting crazy. Tied up 1-1. Back and forth on snakewater. The medics even on charges. Red in control of the second point, though, with plenty of cap time on last. Wonderwall trying to push out here. Cactus Wax is trading shots with Ash. Cleaned up by Brand Slam, though. Yite trying to go behind, but Rakuso stuffs that. Sam cleaned up on Battlements, though. Was kind of maybe overextended by himself. And Corsia will push forward here.
Yep, no demo on blue team, no traps to immediately die to his soldiers begin to immediately try to make space and go straight on the point. They're definitely forcing the issue, and that's just going to be a cap. No stickies on the point, free cap for us as the red team, as they're able to collect their second round. And we could potentially go to the half here if they're able to repeat that, but I'm sure Wonderwall has something else to say about that, you know, in terms of their plan for this mid, so we'll have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I'm certainly curious. Wonderwall will throw out something kind of flashy or different. Looks like one of the soldiers, excuse me, the roamer will go into kitchen. Just kind of posts up there, waiting for now. Big bomb over from the red side. That's a Trip Boy. Doesn't quite find anybody. Ash, neither. Ash gets thrown up sky high. I think got healed up. Yeah, he has gotten healed up. Yike gets cleaned up though outside of kitchen. And looks like Corsia in retreat for the most part. Wonderwall still trying to establish themselves on mid though. It's not settled, that's for sure.
Yep, it was almost a little bit bad for red, but it seems like blue team's not gonna want to take the chance. I'd rather just stalemate it out here and not force the issue. That was a bit sketchy for Corsia. Their target selection was very, very deep. It was hard to focus fire on the kill they were trying to get, and it kind of made things messy. But they were able to fix their issues at the very end of the mid and were able to take this. And it seems like they want to maybe poke through lower. It is even, so I don't think they're gonna try to force an exchange per se, but they're definitely trying to make some noise for at least the roamer, I would say.
Yeah, certainly. Uber charges are even. Corsia down on the low ground trying to push out here. Yike poking his head out here. Brand Slam as well. Trying to fight Rakuso on fence. Rakuso takes a lot of damage.
Decent amount of space made. The scout's going to go through underneath into Africa. I don't think he's seen quite yet. He's able to go up and get on the medic. It ends up being a two-man, three-man. They're able to collect one and get an Uber, but I don't know. That's a lot of resources used as the force easily gained by Rakuso. So now blue team, they have a player advantage to push in a mid if they want to, and it looks like they want to go through lower right now.
Yeah, Zilly used. I didn't quite see what made Zilly pop. Lol guy's pop also seemed a little soft. It was kind of towards the end of it, but maybe there was a stray kind of explosive coming his way I didn't see. And the fight going underway here. The scouts for Corsia though have the high ground, so they're able to shove everybody back. Wonderwall in retreat here. They've managed to build a slight Uber ad though.
Yeah, Wonderwall had an advantage to push, but they were just slightly too slow. And now Corsia is trying to press the issue a little bit. Ash is going to get a little bit too aggressive, and never mind. The trade's going to get killed by Rakuso. Good job by Trip with nice spam against the wall. And that's not going to be a 1-for-0 trade. It's going to be a 1-for-1. So probably back to a stalemate scenario. I don't see Wonderwall using this Uber advantage. It's pretty small, and they don't necessarily know exactly how big it is in the first place. So probably just going to chill and wait for everyone to respawn and see how Corsia decides to break the stalemate.
Yeah, for sure. Right now, Corsia sends a Trip wide through. Lol guy in some trouble. Oh, hold it. No, he doesn't. He gets dropped. Trip Boy survives long enough. He's still got air shot by Sam, but still got the rocket off. That was insane.
A lot of faith in his teammates to be able to collect that kill, especially because it was up against a wall. It's very easy to splash that, but just enough time to puke out one last rocket that was able to drop him. So now red team's in a pretty decent position. They're waiting for the respawners before they push, but instead of a stalemate, now they're in a full Uber app position as it looks like they're eyeing towards lower.
People in chat throwing out number one. Just might be. Somebody submit that clip. That was some hotness. Trip Boy. Now the team feeling stronger. Rakuso coming in here with a spoon. No, he whiffs it. It is not Jake Yonpei or Fletcher or Taylor. He cannot connect there.
Like they're going straight through lower. Uber coming out, not quite in the direction of the gun. It's going to be a little bit of a slow takedown, but a lot of early point presence. Good flashes onto the people that are getting the cap, and that baits enough kills to be able to get some space. They lose their medic immediately, but they might not care if they're able to get back on the point and collect some cap time, and they are able to do that and take it to the half next time.
Yeah, and well, that was. I mean, good solid plays from Wonderwall for a good chunk of that match. But at the same time, I mean, this is the brutality of TF2 where you're like, one, it's halftime, two, you're down 3-1, and it felt really close. You lost that one round after some slight misplays, and then, you have that huge trip boy play, to get the drop. And I mean, he could have used there, but it would have been a similar result almost, even if he gotten that. But then now just you're like, ugh, we're like 2 rounds down, we're going into halftime. It's going to be rough, and they really have to turn things around. And this game has been close, but I don't know if it's been close enough in Wonderwall's, towards Wonderwall that they could possibly run this back. I'm not sure what you're thinking.
Yeah, they'd have to make a very big change, because they can't just make it like an even game slightly in their favor, because now they're at a deficit, right? Even if it's like a 3-2, oh, well, if they get 2, the game's over. You have to, like, start rolling them, so adjustments all over the map in terms of mid-fights, the way you hold last, the pace at which you push through doors, kind of has to change for the better. So you definitely have to, you're definitely tested now as individual players and as a team on your ability to use this time to adapt, and they've read it up. I think they kind of have an idea already of what they want to change, so we'll have to see what that's kind of been. Both teams have been going back and forth in terms of the pace at which they're playing mid. Sometimes it's been hyper-aggressive, sometimes it's been more on the passive side, so I'm sure that there's not too much you can really do there in terms of hard countering, but maybe there's something to be said about the pace at which they play. Sometimes advantages can be gained that might be, taken upon a little bit slower than normal, which, maybe they can try to fix. But ultimately, it's up to them to decide where their weakness is and try to apply it the best they can to get back into this game.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, they're not too far from it, like we've said. I mean, they got to find Brand Slam. I mean, he's a tough one to counter. He plays pretty tight with his medic, his combo, his players, stays alive, spits out mad damage. But I think Cactus Wactus, Rakuso, it's a combination of finding more from their bombs or just kind of sticking a little bit closer together. Again, though, at this top level, all this stuff that we're asking of them is insanely difficult, but it is the facts of the matter, I mean, if you make it to the final heat of the Olympics in the 100 meters, they're going to be like, hey, you got to run faster than that guy. And you're like, are you kidding me? You're like, well, it's just where we're at.
Yep, even though it's a tall order, at this level you have to play as perfect as you can. Every single little thing that might be, not the best about your gameplay can be abused by the other team to be able to turn, holds into pushes, into rounds, into wins. So definitely have to tighten up as much as you can in the little time you're given. And it's kind of rough because this is week 1 in terms of, using this time to, synergize with each other and try to figure out what you want to change, because, the experience with some of the players might not be as, high as you would see like in a playoff game or something where the team has been playing with each other for multiple months. But either way, it's not totally impossible. It just might be a little bit more difficult than usual, but at the end of the day, the only thing we can really do is just kind of wait and see what they're able to pull out. I think we do have Wonderwall as the one being readied up, so I think we're just waiting for Corsia to figure out what they want to do to make sure that the lead that they have is still in play when the second round comes, and make sure they don't drop any rounds, or maybe think about if they were in the other team's shoes, what kind of adjustments should they be preparing to face and how they want to prepare for that in the middle of the game, A lot of things to talk about, even if you're in the driver's seat in terms of rounds, just to make sure that you keep your lead and it's not like a reverse sweep or anything like that. So, we'll give them the time they need, but I'm sure it won't be too much longer until the game started.
Yeah, for sure. Should be getting underway here. It's good that they're talking it out. If that's the circumstances, don't think that they're just on complete break here. Obviously, mid-fights, transitions, always a lot to talk about. Got to keep that positivity.
Yep, the mid-fights, like I said before, have been altering quite a lot, so it's kind of difficult to say, like, oh, this team does this, let's counter it, because it's kind of been something a little bit different every single time, or at least for both teams, so you're going to have multiple things prepared in your playbook to make sure that no matter what it is, you're able to adjust in the heat of the moment and be prepared for whatever, so it might take a bit of time to talk about and make sure everyone's on the same page.
Yep, for sure. And big plays all around. What were some of your favorites from the first half? Was it the Zilly 1 health? Was it the Trip Boy drop? Was there something else?
That was definitely a nice way to enter, like, you're in a stalemate for a little bit early on in the match, and then finally when stuff starts happening, you see a medic barely escape on actual 1 HP. It's always kind of interesting to see. A little bit of a nail biter. I think the drop more than anything was just like, sometimes you gotta trust your team, and it was just unfortunate that they weren't able to kill the people you thought in time. So
yeah, it was one of those ones too. You got these like, I don't know, split-second decisions and back and forth of like, am I gonna crater? And then he like surfed above the stairs, and he's like, I think I'm good. And then like, my teammate's gonna air shot him, and then he like definitely air shot him, and somehow just got that last second rocket off. So he's gonna have to shake it off for sure. I'm sure Lol Guy won't have a problem with it, but they need to make some changes overall. Second half going underway right now, though. We'll see what happens.
Yep, gonna have to see how the teams kind of alter their mids. They've had a whole half to talk about it. Demo spam going across the point. It seems like red team's gonna go ahead and go in a little bit of a normal setup. Actually, same with the blue team. Some initiation coming out of fruit, or off the back, counter initiation coming from the red team, trying to get some good positioning on the high ground. First frag is dropped, but not without being traded. Both roamers down for either team right now. Health pretty normal, although red team has superior height advantage right now with a scout above. Fruit's going to try to knock him down. It's going to be successful. He's going to go for another counterplay right in, but double denied. Create some space and some distraction for his team. Run forward through, but they're not able to collect the kills they need. Oh, never mind. They do collect the kill they need. They're able to get Zilly, but overall not as many as they would need, as they do lose that mid. It is taken by Corsia, but at the very least, they are able to collect that medic kill, so it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, some big key frags from Sam at the end of that. Corsia still already getting forward. They want that 4th point on the board. And yeah, kind of a tough mid for Wonderwall. Rakuso, other players not quite able to get in with the bombs as they needed to. And they are running out here to try to counter on too. This is smart. Heads up. Rakuso bombing. Oh my god, he got a triple kill with that rocket.
That's a lot of weak players getting ready for an arrow all at once. That was a little bit bad luck coming from them, especially because Zilly just got there. He can't say you're all weak unless well, I guess he can maybe see it like with medic radar. But the fact they all choose the same spot to stand in and just give a really nice bomb to Rakuso is very, very good for the blue team. Good play coming out of Rakuso, and now the table's kind of turned. Instead of Corsia pushing Wonderwall a second, gonna kind of flip-flop in a little bit here. There's a slight difference though. We do have a sniper sitting in the forward spawn that is spotted, so we'll have to see how that comes into play, especially when Wonderwall knows about it, but looks like it's gonna be Saw as the door they're gonna try to push through.
Yeah, that's certainly a smart rotation. They've played a lot of TF2, so I'm sure they've been into some moments where they've called that and then they push through lower anyways, and then they lose players and you're like, why did we not just push through Saw? Because yeah, you just rotate away from the player and it's useless. So he's kind of had to cycle spawns. Zilly's in retreat. Lol Guy doesn't have the charge here. So the counter push is coming out here. Howard sneaking through. Okay, no, Ash is looking like they're going to counter him. So Howard spooks him enough that that uber charge and that advantage that they have kind of just fizzles out.
Yeah, it didn't really give them a whole lot of position. They're trying to take some back now by able to secure some flank kills.
Oh, Zilly goes down.
Zilly.
Yeah, they were chasing Cactus Wactus, and that's what I was humming and hawing about, because Cactus Wactus was kind of out of position. Right now, though, Lol Guy does get away pretty healthy. Getting chased at the same time they get away. Zilly was on the battlements kind of alone, just ate a big pipe while he was trying to assess the situation.
And the good news for Wonderwall is with that kill and their own medic living, they're able to go ahead and work their way back to 2 with a decent attempt at taking it. And even though red could poke their head a little bit, they do have the disad to work with. They've opted to set up with some off classes, which is pretty smart, and just prepare for last. So blue team will be in the driver's seat, and just up to them to pick a door and try to burst their way through. Just gotta be careful about the sniper. Seems like he's backing up though.
Yeah, it was holding that close. Now a little bit back. Rotation to lower to shutter coming out here. They have the ad. Brand Slam with the sentry gun in the back left. Recharge coming in. Sentry gun dealt with. And bombs coming in. Trying to find Zilly. Zilly is getting tossed around. Good surf. Still dodging. Doesn't get into spawn though. Big damage from Rakuso on Tripwire. Rakuso surviving. The capture coming out here. Alex.exe won't be able to defend it himself. 3-2 now.
A really good pinch play. They took a lot of space with that Uber and were able to send in their flank about the same time as everyone reached the truck, and that was able to help them collect a lot of kills. So that's a round on the board they definitely wanted. So now we're at 3-2 in favor of Corsia. We'll have to see if they're able to shake up their mids a little bit and get back into the thing of things still. Wonderwall, as both demos are arriving at mid and we're off to the 6th mid of the game.
Yeah, TF2 sometimes can be a very momentum-based sport. Wactus coming in with the bomb here. Oh, Cap getting thrown out over as well. He goes down. This is not a clean mid. Ash and Lol Guy trading. And, well, Sam's still in there. Not going to be able to find Zilly. And as soon as they get that round, though, things might be unwinding.
Good counter initiation coming out from Corsia. They kind of recognized that it was going to be a quick bomb coming in from Wonderwall and just kind of held S into their own lower and tried to collect the frags along the way. So good job by them to only really lose one in turn of wiping the entire other team. So now they're in a good spot. Full Uber advantage. Wonderwall does have a gun though, but that's pretty standard. So it's kind of up to them to figure out where they want to go. Scout a little bit weak trying to get some information, but he's able to get out. He kind of has a good idea of where things are. The gun's trying to get spammed, not going to be quite successful, but at the end of the day, it looks like it's going to be another Uber through Shutter X-Time.
Yeah, guns down. So yeah, it's just coming up with level 1, has to cycle out. Ubercharge used to take control of truck. There goes Cactus Wactus. Sam down as well. Rakuso getting thrown around. No air shot, but he can't escape in a spawn. The fight on point though. Somehow going around. All right. A soldier bombing around gets onto the point. Can't get much capture time though. Sorry, kind of stammering there, but the scouts standing strong. I was surprised, but Wonderwall holding that point.
Yeah, red team seemed to be a little bit disconnected, but they're trying to work something again now as they're able to create some space, able to get a nice demo kill, and Ash lives with 4 HP, able to hop out. That's going to leave Caps also very dead because he chased a little bit too far and not able to get the frag. A third frag coming out onto Cactus Wactus. He is going to lose his life for it, yeah it is, but it's still a nice advantageous position for the red team to be in. You know, Grand Slam trying to peek through Shutter a little bit, the rest of his team trying to pop through the right side, and they're able to successfully get this force. They do lose one, or they might lose two. Oh no. Blue team is going to drop one of their scouts in that Uber, and because they're close enough, red team's going to counteract. They're going to send their demos straight in as Wonderwall tries to escape with their lives to the other side of the map. They're going to lose the Rakuso, and seems like this post Uber could go pretty well for Corsia. It kind of depends on the pace at which they play it X-Time.
Pretty good for Wonderwall as well, though, to be honest, as how we're going to be respawning here. Rakuso on 5 seconds. Big bomb across here from Twitbot. Oh, actually, Yite just gets on the point. Oh, yep. I mean, that's one way to do it.
Well, a lot of pressure on that point, draws a lot of eyes, and it's a nice distraction to, you know, make sure that you're able to secure it the best you can. Just call it, get on point, have your demo sticky it, and they can't block it. Pretty simple play, but this could be your match point. Corsia has 4 rounds, so we're off to the 7th mid fight.
Yeah, rough for Wonderwall now, down 4-2. Had some momentum going, but just as quickly as they did, it was snatched from them. They slowed things down once again. Killing some players on catwalk. Maybe Wactus can jump out. Oh, it's just destruction though. Ash coming in, gets the kill on Sam. Might have been Tripwire in there as well. I think it was Tripwire.
It seems like the counter initiation from Wonderwall is definitely not as strong as Corsia in terms of reacting very quickly to teams going in. And speaking of teams going in, it seems like Corsia wants to press the issue right now while they have some players alive. Some good space made by the soldier, and they're actually able to collect the scout frag, not without losing their own fort though. So, you know, red team a little bit on the weaker side, you know, not necessarily the most favorable spot to be in. It seems like they're going to try to escape with their lives and just, you know, play a little bit slower this time.
Yeah, they have the Uber Church here, so there's no reason to just kind of chill out and back up a bit, reset. They're gonna look to rotate through Saw, excuse me. Brand Slam coming back to life. Rakuso kind of sees him there, but you know, not too much you can do about it.
Kind of just up to Corsia here on how they want to sack. If they wanted to send someone through Saw or make noise lower. Got a couple different options. Probably just trying to figure out exactly where Wonderwall is holding. It's probably good information to gather that the medic is on point and not necessarily like underneath cheese or anything. He is making some smaller rotations though, so the timing at which they bomb could, you know, put in a great effect on whether or not they're any successful at all. So we'll have to see how the timing works out and the information gathering and when they actually go in. Seems like they want to work towards lower this time, make some noise. Not sure if the bomb's going to go through. It's probably going to be a Saw bomb. Trips eyeing up. He wants to go in. It's going to get piped though.
they have heavily rotated down through to lower. Ash go for the big bomb off ramp. Can't quite get out there. Lokai pops supercharge that time. Doesn't want to get caught in pit like before.
Yep, send one through Africa at the same time, so that'll be a 2-man for a successful force. They don't have a whole lot of players alive to be able to stuff these doors, but they do have an Uber, so that's going for them. But blue team, it doesn't seem like they really want to try to do anything off the 2 kills. There are some open doors here that aren't being watched they could try to go through, but it doesn't seem like they think that's their strong suit, and they'd rather just set up fully like on their own too.
Yeah, I mean, they're in a tough situation. Uber Disad, Zillion Company with Alex.exe, Brand Slam, they're going to come in through lower. Trip Boy working through soft. Maybe we'll jump out through window. And Brand Slam and Trip Boy kind of picturing Rakuso there. He gets taken out cleanly. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, not a real strong attempt at trying to get this Uber Force, and this gun has to hastily be built up. It's not even up yet as red team already pops in. One thing that is true, though, is they were a little bit too slow, and blue team's able to collect their Uber and actually kill the demo man because he was really deep. He thought it was ad, but it wasn't. So now they're in a decent position. They're going to get off their off classes and try to poke around these doors when they know there's no traps.
Yeah, Sam getting cleaned up there. He is respawning now. We'll see. Or sorry, not Sam. Yeah, it was Alex.exe. He's running forward though, and the push forward here from Zilly is a dry kind of just pressure.
That's a lot of nice
will
spam.
back up, but staying up. Yeah, definitely.
And up towards the drop down area, they're just busting through. Literally 5 players through drop down. They're able to trade some frags back and forth and take some position on the other team's side of the last. They're getting good cap time. This could be it. Ziki's on the point, locked out, and the people trying to block the cap just immediately die to the traps. So that is going to be Corsia's 5th round. It is going to be a 5-2 as I predicted for this first match of the season next time. You know, pretty back and forth, some good play, gameplay, but at the end of the day, it seems like Corsia were a little bit more prepared for this match.
Yeah, definitely. Well played by them. Strong stuff. The teams too just love to play TF2, so they're just kind of running in towards mid fight just for the fun of it. But GGs have been fully called, and yeah, I mean, Wonderwall had their moments. Cactus Wactus and Rakuso, you know, had their moments. Howard Cap, Sam, everybody did pretty good, but you know, at the end of the day, yeah, Trip Y was just devastating. Yite and Brand Slam are a pretty nutty scout combo as well, and then also Alex.exe just really kind of showing his level head with some of those calls and pushes and what he was able to get done. So just very strong performance from Corsia. I think it was acknowledged already that they were going to be somebody that you needed to kind of watch out for this season. But, you know, great start to the season for them, really definitely reinforcing that point.
Yep. I mean, if you consider Corsia maybe like the 2nd or 3rd team right now in terms of potential placements, getting 2 rounds isn't that bad, especially if you're trying to just make sure that, you know, you get into playoffs with all these teams coming up and you're not really sure exactly where everyone's going to fall. You know, if you really think about it, regular season doesn't really matter too much as long as you get into it, because you could win all your regular season matches, but kind of, you know, falter out in playoffs. So making it there is the important thing, and I'm sure that, you know, week 1 collecting 2 rounds on a pretty semi-established team. You know, they made some roster changes, but still decent performance, nothing to be ashamed of, and I'm sure they're ready for their next potential meet up later on in the season.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that's a very solid point as well. You know, that we don't really know who's going to be the number 2 team. That is usually something that happens in North American TF2. You have a very strong top 2, and that's just sort of how the talent works out, and just kind of the brutal truth of kind of communities. And that's why, you know, hopefully next year, you know, we can have some international competitions, some mixing of the communities. But, you know, right now, that's probably how things are going to shape out against Invite. And some of these teams, yeah, still kind of as a full 6 stack, kind of newer. Wonderwall, pretty good performance tonight. They have to be fairly happy with that. They can watch the tape back, though, and see what they can learn from it. We're just wrapping up here. Sorry, our producer was saying something. I didn't quite catch it, though, but okay, we'll possibly have an interview. Any final words or other thoughts from you real quick, Jared?
Well, we got the stat page up. Brand Slam definitely keeping true to his prior stats that he had at the halftime, showing a very nice KD with respectable damage. So definitely a very solid rock that definitely paved the way for a consistent performance from Corsia. So despite all the players performing well, definitely shout out to him for providing a nice, I guess, like I said, consistent performance for his team. That's definitely something that you would want when you have a team that's going into a week 1 match. You know, things can be kind of rickety, and especially when you're playing a team that you might necessarily know exactly what they're going to do, but if you have a player that's definitely pulling out all the stops when you need it to, definitely helps you secure your victory. So I'm sure they're happy they have that going for them.
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to pull up just real quick. I'm curious what other matches that we have in the division this week that might be interesting. We do have some new sponsors in the division as well. I want to shout out Morning Light making their invite premiere. I don't know. Invite debut with a new roster. Global Clan also jumping into the Team Fortress world. And then Witness Gaming, that sort of counts as a new sponsor. He's been around helping out Invite for a while. But certainly excited about how this Invite season will be unfolding as we move forward.
Yep, should be interesting. Like you said before, you know, not everything's exactly set in stone, especially when all the shuffles happens, when, you know, Ascent folds and you're not really sure who's going to take the number 2 seed, as all these teams kind of, you know, form around the last minute and trade players back and forth with roster transactions. So should be a relatively exciting season in terms of who's going to make it to the playoffs at the end of week 8.
Yeah, certainly. And we do map bans each week, so never really know what exactly is going to be happening map-wise. That's just how this division works out. Sunshine Week in the other divisions. A lot of fantastic Team Fortress coverage happening around the world as, you know, I mean, obviously North America, I just meant to say that there's a lot of RGL action, but of course some of the organizations I was just about to shout out also do coverage of ETF2L. And then there's organizations that I wasn't really planning on shouting out at first, but, you know, might as well shout out the whole world of TF2 as Critscast getting busy with the ETF2L. I just changed up my schedule. You might see me on some weekdays, Tuesday through Wednesday, possibly doing some ETF2L stuff. It's a possibility now, and that's exciting. But basically, TeamFortress.tv, the RGL.gg production crew, Fireside Casts are some of the biggest ones that are out there in North America. But also a little bit more up-and-coming casters out and about there. It looks like we do have someone in here for an interview. I think we were joined by Zilly. How you doing, Zilly?
What's up, man?
Chilling.
Zilly, I want you to explain to me how it felt to go from a 5-minute stalemate to immediately having your ass on the line at 1 HP trying to escape back to mid.
I don't know, I just chatted up on some pussy. I think it was Rakusa or something. Probably was.
Poor Rakuso. Alright, so talk to me about your expectations going into this match, because it's kind of like, you know, week 1, not really sure how good everyone's going to be, trying to figure out how your own team is operating. Did you kind of expect like an easy match, a hard match? What were you thinking?
Honestly, they're like a pretty good team, so I expected them to like play way better. Like going into the match, I expected them to play way better than they do in scrims, and they actually did. And I think, I don't know, it was like right about where they played right about where like I thought they'd be. I think they'll get better though, because they definitely improved a lot from like the last time we played them on snakewater.
And speaking of snakewater, was it? I noticed the map bans had a particular theme to it. If you could go in a little bit and your team's thought process on trying to.
I'm not sure what the map bans were like, but
you guys banned the cough maps and
yeah, they roll us in cough on scrims, so we were like, let's just not play them on cough, and we'll just take them to some 5 CP. And then we were comfortable against them on pretty much most 5 CP maps, but they're like a pretty good cough team, just in general, I think.
Makes sense, especially because cough can be seen as more like upsetty, I guess, so don't want to bother with that, I would assume, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think we need to work on our cough more, but I think we would have been fine with playing with them on that too. I'm sure they'll try to take a stick off next time we play them, but I think we play every team 3 times this season or something like that, so something crazy.
Definitely plenty of opportunities for losing teams to get their revenge, I suppose.
Yeah. They're definitely a good team.
All right, well, we're week 1, so really early on, it's kind of hard to tell. But do you have any expectations for your team in terms of where you guys think you're going to end up? You scrimming for a couple weeks, you can kind of eye up a couple of teams and try to figure out their skill level and kind of where they land. What do you think about your own teams? What are your expectations for your goals for end of the season?
Probably top 3. I think we were like close with the Sandless team going from the other night when we played them. So I think that could, by the end of the season, that could go either way. But hopefully we're like trying to edge them out, like for maybe 2nd place at the end, 3rd place at worst for our team.
Okay, that sounds good. Eckstein, do you have anything?
Zilly, what was, we talked about your surf, your survival. We had one other moment for sure in mind. It might be the same for you though, but I'll hold it close to my heart. What do you think was the hypest moment of the match, like in your team voice chant?
Oh, when we got rolled by Rakuso.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we 3 of us pushed lower, and he just landed on us and nuked us. I was like shocked because he never does like anything normally. So I'm just like, oh my god, he came to play tonight.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one. I think our other really hype moment was Trip Boy got a pretty insane rocket combo and drop. You should check that out. At least I had a really good 3rd-person perspective of it. I don't know how Dolphin.
Yeah, I do remember like that happening, but I could not see it at all. So if there's like a clip of it, that'd be sick.
Yeah. Hopefully the viewers came through. Before I guess we let you get back to hanging out with your team, you got any shout outs you want to hand out?
Yeah, shout out to my team, and shout out to Cookie Jake, Marmalade, and I guess Ski's name, Campy. That's about it, I think.
Nice. Yeah, we had Campy was chilling in chat. Some of those other names as well. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us for a quick little interview, Zilly. We appreciate it. I'm sure the fans appreciate it as well. We hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Don't celebrate too hard. It's just the start of week 1 of the season. And we'll do it for our broadcast tonight. But there's going to be plenty of other broadcasts coming up. And, make sure, of course, like and follow here. Follow the RGLgg Twitter. Hop in that RGLgg Discord. All that good stuff. Jarrett, any final shout-outs from you real quick?
Shout out to Connie, who couldn't make it today because he had to deal with fires and stuff, but hopefully he's all good and be able to come back and kind of soon.
Yep, shout out to Connie Kins, shout out to our producer Dolphin, and shout out to our viewers for tuning in tonight. We appreciate it so much. But that will do it for this broadcast. I am Eckstein, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you next time. Peace out.